Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Hey, everybody, this is Michael J. Maher, host of the Referrals Podcast. We talk about how to win the referral game, and boy, oh boy, do we have a winner on today, and she is going to talk about how she is winning the referral game. I cannot wait for you to get this material today. I love this for all the right reasons. There's so many good things that you're going to get out of today's podcast. Before I do that, I have to give a big shout out to Meredith in St. Louis. She said all the ideas in 7L, the Gen events, Generosity Generation events, the Catalyst coaching, and even Referrals Podcast, it's all pushing me to be a better version of myself. Our business is up in our office by 70%, and company-wide, we are up 15%, and I've only introduced the concepts to them. We've opened 3 new offices in the last year, which puts us at 8 total locations merely from referrals. And I hit my bonus 4 months in a row. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know what, Meredith? Thank you. And to all the listeners and viewers out there of the Referrals Podcast, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for rating and reviewing. We love you. We appreciate you. And the reason that you love Referrals Podcast are because of guests like we have today. We have Rita Driver, who is a CRS, she's a CRC, and she's a CRT. I mean, it's alphabet soup, you know? So she's with CRS, a Certified Residential Specialist. That's the designation. She is a CRC, which is a Certified Referral Coach for Referco, and also a CRT, Certified Referral Trainer for Referco, and one of her most sought after and honestly, most popular presentations is on her topic today. And without further ado, I want to bring in Rita Driver, Realtor, Memphis, Tennessee. Welcome, Rita, to Referrals Podcast.
Thank you, Michael.
And it's like, welcome back again. I think it's standard practice that we have to bring your brilliance on like every 6 months just to get the crowd off of our back saying, when's Rita coming back on? Because I'll tell you what they love about Rita is there's so much BS, and that's bad stuff, in the world today, especially in the real estate world, that they love that Rita Driver tells it like it is. Like you're the no BS woman in this business, and I just love that because it's like, all right, here's how you do it. No excuses, get it done. If I can do it, anybody can do it, go do it. So today we're talking about how to really throw these events from a charitable aspect and how to have a charity softball tournament that will turn into getting referrals, and how to have a motorcycle or a bike ride, a charity bike ride, that will get into referrals. And these 2 events have been staples for you in Memphis, Tennessee. So before we get into all that, maybe reintroduce our listeners to Rita Driver, like in a quick snapshot. How did you get into the business? When did you get into the business? And, kind of what did you do for business for when you were getting started?
Well, thank you for that awesome introduction there, Michael. I'll try to live up to that.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been a realtor in Memphis, Tennessee since 1993. It was on a dare that I actually became a realtor because we were having a house built, my husband and I, Bob. I was a police officer at that time for the city of Memphis, and he was working as safety director. Well, we were having a house built, and I got a little irritated with the realtors because there's some of that no BS. Mm-hmm. They were really terrible realtors and were pulling kind of some stuff. So we laid down in bed one night. I was griping, complaining. And Bob said, well, if you think you can do better, I dare you. So however many years it's been since 1993, I guess we're into number 27.
Wow.
I took that dare. I ran with it because I don't back down from a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm guessing you've done it better. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, sold over what, 2,500 homes, you know?
I'm still here and they're not. So that's, yes, I did it better.
Yeah.
But from compassion, I did it for the right reasons. And if anybody's going to goof up and mess up anything, it's me, and I'm going to make it right.
Yeah. And so Rita's been on before. So if you're not familiar with her, what I would really recommend you do is listen to another episode that we've had with her where she talked about her divorce niche. And Rita is really an expert at segmentation of the database. And today we're talking about segmentation of the database. There's a lot of ways you can segment your database. There's demographic and geographic and so on and so forth. But on the demographic side, some people will segment it by their profession, like doctors together or attorneys together or whatever it may be. And they'll try to approach people that are in certain professions. But one of the things that we really I suggest, is that you segment by interest. What are they interested in? And that's kind of the hub of the entire 7L system, is you're going to get people who are interested in doing something that you're interested in doing, and you're going to get them all together. Well, Rita is the implementer of that. She's the one that has taken this to the next level. One thing she does is she does these motorcycle rides, and we're going to save that for another episode. What I really want to dive deep into, and I mean dive deep, we're going to go nitty-gritty details on your charity softball tournament. And so how long have you played softball? And let's talk about like your interest in softball and what does that look like over the years?
Oh, and that's an awesome question. And I love that one because in a roundabout way, you just asked me how old I am, and I love that.
Never, right? So all
but
good.
I'm that because this is the no BS. I am 54 years old. I will be 55 this year.
Feisty 55. I love it.
Is I'll still keep playing until I am 85 because I am in those groups. I started playing softball when I was 4 or 5 years old. Started with guys in the churchyard because girls weren't playing then. Moved on into high school. My mother and 2 aunts were on a women's softball team when it wasn't big.
Yeah.
And I salivated on the sidelines because my daddy told me I was too little to play. At the age of 15 or 16, my grandmother went in the hospital. She was not doing well. My mother and 2 aunts were out for a tournament. I played the whole tournament. We won.
Wow.
So my daddy agreed to let me play on.
How old were you then?
15, 16.
Yeah.
Well, back when you had to sign off that if a kid got hurt, they weren't liable. Well, yeah. At that juncture, I guess when I went to college, to the University of Memphis, played a little bit of intramural sports, but actually went back into softball around 2002 or 3.
Okay.
And teams here in Memphis and started co-ed and then started playing some women's. So some of the different groups that I play with have range anywhere from 19 to 75.
Wow.
But I'm actually on 2 or 3 different teams this year. So we're going to actually start a 55s team. And we go to the Senior Olympics too.
Senior Olympics this year. That's amazing. I think that's where I wanted to go with this, is that some people dabble in softball. They play one night a week with their local team, which is fantastic. Rita lives and breathes this. And how many consecutive years has your team gone to the World Series?
Well, it's the Senior Olympics for the 50s to 55 team, and we have every alternate year you have to qualify. So this is a qualifying year, but we've actually won the gold in 2017 and 2019, and next year in 2021 we will be in Fort Lauderdale and winning the gold for the third.
So you're a Senior Olympic gold medalist 2 times over in softball.
Yes.
So suffice it to say, you like softball.
I love it. Several
Right.
world things, some world watches. We've won worlds many times.
Yeah, love it. And that's why we love each other is I've got some history in softball myself. So we love softball, but we can love softball and some people compartmentalize them different, right? They don't even want to think about real estate or whatever when they're playing softball, and they, so on and so forth. But you decided to turn softball into a charitable affair. How did that happen? How did you take your love for softball and kind of come on this tangent that is a love for softball and a love for charity?
When you find the right team, they're your family. So, and they're my family outside of my 4 walls of my home.
Yeah.
Bob abhors softball. He's not a sports person at all. He loves boxing, and I'm not a boxing person. So I had to do that in the academy, so it's just not for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's easier just to hold the gun on somebody and make them do what you want them to do.
Yeah. You're a police officer. You're not going to take you take a gun to a boxing match, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
it's all good.
Absolutely. With how I actually worked that was some friends of mine became a client, and he actually said something to me. He said, "Hey, why don't you come and play ball?" So it had been several years since I played. I actually went onto a co-ed team, then started to sponsor that team because I sponsor a lot of teams, but I didn't sponsor them for them to work with me. I sponsored them because I made them part of my sphere. They were my family. And then organically.
Now, look real quick on that. Are they wearing driver group shirts and everything?
Yes, they're wearing jersey. I don't know if you can see this jersey.
Look, you got a jersey on.
I do have a jersey on. And
my God, that's a great looking jersey.
It says driver on the butt, and it's but my number is always 1, except on my old ladies team, which is 3, which was my mother's number. So I'm still.
Like it.
We actually progressed over the years, and I've played a lot of co-ed, a lot of women's. I actually play on a men's police tournament team where I'm the only female.
Wow. And
I play first base for them, which is really cool.
Yeah, and they're bringing it. So you better be able to catch, right? The third baseman and the shortstop they're bringing it. So Talk to me about, okay, so you started out, you were sponsoring the teams, and then eventually that graduated into, hosting a tournament is far more detailed and extensive than just sponsoring a team. So, and sponsoring the team probably got you a little bit of business, but from what we've discovered, having these charity softball tournaments, like tonight, you have 40 pieces of business that you can really track that are going to be on the field tonight. In one night. Yes. So I want to know, what was the first charity? How did that work out? Like, I want to know when this blossomed into a charity event.
Okay, so the story began when I started back playing softball in my adult years, somewhere around 2002, 2003. I was playing on a co-ed team mostly, and I sponsored that team and a men's team. I also sponsored a men's team because there was a whole lot more outlet for men to play softball than women.
Yep.
No big deal. That's cool. Fast forward from 2002 or 3 to 2009, a very dear friend of mine had called me from that team, wanted to buy a house. I had him working with a lender. He had 3 daughters, an ex-wife and 3 daughters. Come to find out, the ex-wife and 2 of the daughters were living in one of my rental properties.
Wow.
So that was really kind of a cool connection. But late 2009, December 23rd, his wife killed him.
Oh, geez.
Murdered him. There's actually investigation discovery where we did a documentary on that for
so there's a TV show on it.
Yeah. I'm on that TV show. I have not watched it, but yes, we recorded years later. So because he had 3 children and he was not able to acquire property prior to his murder, I went to some of my guy friends and I told them I want to do a charity softball tournament where the daughters are the recipients of the funds. Even though 2 of them at that time were under 18, we could put the money in a trust for them for 18. So that's how I started that charity. And we actually had the girls, his daughters, come out and pitch out balls, bat. We raffled off bats because, and actually his sister-in-law is one of my clients multiple times over because his brother had committed suicide several years prior. So there was a nephew, and I made sure that 12-year-old nephew won a bat.
Yeah.
Didn't care how much it cost. He won. He still has that bat. He serves in the military today, and he is one of my future clients, and I've been in communication with him.
So let's talk about, so this was near Christmas time, and you had the charity softball tournament, what, March or April?
Yes. We had April that year.
Yeah.
Because I needed to get beyond the weather and I needed to get beyond the hurt.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of time there. And so how many teams and how did you spread the word about this softball tournament to benefit these 3 sisters?
We had 25 or 28 teams. I can't remember.
At the very first tournament? How did you get the word out? I mean, that's I was thinking you had 4 teams or 8 teams, but you had 28 teams. It's amazing.
Yes. Well, I have a lot of cop friends. I have a lot of softball friends. So by that point, all I really did was call up 3 or 4 of the guys and tell them, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. So I called the city of Bartlett because those were the fields I wanted. Yeah. I got the fields donated, the lights donated. I got food and drink donated. I got all of the bats donated that were raffled. T-shirts were donated. You name it, it was donated.
So what was the cost to you of the first tournament?
Zero. Word of mouth.
And what do you think you raised?
We raised somewhere enough to where we had, I think it was $3,800 per daughter.
So over $10,000. Well,
yes.
I mean, first tournament. And now here's the thing. So here's what's amazing is you could have a tournament and I know there's a lot of people who listen to this who are thinking about doing a baseball tournament or a basketball tournament or a football, or a softball tournament. And what's amazing about this is that if this wasn't a charity tournament in this case, there probably would have been 4 to 8 teams. But because it's like we are rallying and I will tell you something about softball players. If there's a cause to rally around, there's not too many people that are better. It is a close-knit, amazing family. Kind of like all of these interest-based groups are. Motorcycle enthusiasts, same way. So so boom, it's a success right from the beginning. Rita's heart is in the right place. And listen, she's not going to get anything out of it, but you actually got quite a bit out of it following, right?
Yes. What actually wound up happening was it bonds everybody because there's a reason that we're all out there.
Yeah.
But we also formed kind of a protective shell around those kids. Mm-hmm. So we still have involvement with his daughters and the nephew and his sister-in-law, his mom, his stepdad. I mean, they're still part of our family.
Yeah.
What actually kicked over was about 5 or 6 years. Well, I guess it was 6 years ago now. Is another one of our players that I didn't know very well, but it was a husband-wife.
Yeah.
They had a 2-year-old boy who was diagnosed with brain cancer.
2 years old.
2.
Wow.
2 years old. And it's it is a secret to the listeners here, but anybody who knows me intimately and has followed me in my life at all, I actually worked a whole lot of distressed properties during the housing downturn.
Right.
Working by referral is not some fairy tale world. It's real. I've seen it. And you can too. Invest in yourself by learning how to run your business by referral at Michael's upcoming live event. It will be a day filled with hands-on, how-to, low to no-cost strategies that you can implement in your business right away. Learn how to run a business by referral that not only feeds your family, but feeds your soul. Go to www.gengenevents.com today. That's www.gengenevents.com.
And one of my clients had a child that had brain cancer and seizures and things. So I understood the devastation on the financial end of the family. They need to concentrate on their child. They don't need to concentrate on the house.
Right.
So when I discovered that, I actually went to two of my very, very closest people that I knew could schedule a tournament, keep it on track. I went back to the city of Bartlett and requested the fields free of charge again, and I got them. And again, word of mouth, I think we had 30 teams in that tournament. It was called the Jack's Superman Tournament for this 2-year-old little boy.
Yeah.
And at 11:45 on a Saturday night, I'm standing on a field handing them a check for $12,000, $13,000. I'm handing them $13,000 basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
years worth of house payments.
Yes, that tournament they had just, unbeknownst to me, they had just lost one of their vehicles, so they were down one.
Jeez. So
that tournament still goes on today. I'm proud to announce that in April he will be 8. Wow. He is doing extremely well. His scans all come out well, but that family calls me Aunt Rita, and they are right beside me. And I didn't do anything the following years except for turn it over to them. Yeah. So now Jude is the recipient of those funds. Every year there's a Jack's Superman tournament.
Wow. So that's been going on 7 or 8 years. Or yes. This will be the 7th year.
This will be the 7th year.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. And it's amazing he's still alive. That's beautiful. And you know, you're not one to take credit for anything even remotely close to that, but I have to tell you that the financial hardship could add stress to the family, could have been devastating for him. And in this case, they don't have to worry about it as much, which decreases the stress, on him as well. So, or around him at least. So I love that's a heck of a success story there. Now, what is the tournament tonight about? And I know, you know, we're doing this recording in February. Basically, it's almost leap weekend. Yep. And this will air in March or April. But tell us about the tournament today.
Well, I've been approached over the years. For the last 2 or 3 years, I've actually stepped back from sponsoring teams. I needed that for me. I needed time just to play and enjoy, slow down. And actually, I've been enjoying writing.
Yeah. Yay.
You know, visiting all of your events or going to all of your events and actually giving there because I love to give. That's my thing.
Yeah. And you're a born teacher.
Well, I enjoy sharing because if we don't, who's going to, and what are they going to do when we're gone?
True.
You know, tonight's tournament, one of the gentlemen approached me and he asked me, he said, I know that you've kind of taken a step back, but I would really love it if you would just help a little sponsor our team. I said, okay, tell you what I'll do. This is how it's going to be. I'll sponsor your team somewhat, not full on, but good enough. I want 3 charity tournaments this year for the 3 charities I choose.
Wow.
If your men can put that together, I'll be your sponsor.
Wow.
So, yeah. So, and there's nothing in that for me except the truth is, it is.
Yeah.
I'm getting to do something that I passionately love, which is giving to the community. I've got a community of softball players, but I'm not asking them to work with me, and I'm not asking them for referrals. They know what I do. When the umpire stops the game and lets me hug whoever's there, and then I bat, you've won.
Mm-hmm.
But this one tonight, the gentleman that I'm working with, his brother committed suicide 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. Mm. So tonight's charity tournament is suicide awareness. Mm. So that's the one tonight.
Yeah.
We another team that will be putting one on, and it will be for autism because one of our players' daughters has autism.
Love that.
Autistic. And honestly, I'm probably going to require, well, I've already required it. It's not probably. Here's the no BS. I've already required that they actually work with myself, the Memphis Police Association here, and the Fayetteville, City of Fayetteville, Arkansas, because Fayetteville, Arkansas lost one of their first officers on December the 7th of 2019.
Yeah.
And I want our Hester Sykes charity tournament here for police and fire to be replicated over there to support their men and women in blue and first responders.
Yeah. Love
so
that.
Those were my 3 requirements.
Yeah. And that's kind of that's a win-win-win for you. So it has the charity aspect, but in this case, the charity is the police force, which is near and dear to your heart and been a part of your history. And it includes softball. So let me ask you this. So we've got listeners who are, they're like, all right, I want to do a softball tournament. And I play some softball, but they're not as committed or involved as you are. What would be the first 2 or 3 steps that they need to take to start a softball tournament?
One of the ways that I did it is just actually there should be some type of athletics within every city or some kind of a community center. It doesn't necessarily have to be softball, but if you get your foot in that door, and they love to have the community involved because they want people to enjoy what the city and your taxes are paying for, which are ball fields, greens, parks. They want these things enjoyed and appreciated by their citizens. Yeah. So the first things I did was go straight to the Bartlett Parks and Rec director. Mm-hmm. See, I don't stop anywhere below. I go straight to the head person because I want. And then actually we evolved that because when I first started working with them, we could only have a tournament on Saturday. We couldn't play on Friday night, and we absolutely couldn't play on Sunday before 2 p.m. because that was the mayor rule. Well, I got to the mayor, and we changed that rule. So now we have 3-day tournaments.
Nice.
Yes. But that's the first place I would start is with your athletics director or anybody that's involved in athletics in your city.
So go to the Parks and Rec director or even somebody who is maybe running tournaments at the fields already. They're going to know either who to contact, or sometimes that person becomes your partner in the process, and they're already running tournaments. So it makes it a lot easier. I would say for someone who's getting started is don't let a couple of roadblocks shut you down. There's going to be someone who will partner with you or help you along to make this happen. And you don't necessarily need a special case. You don't need, the 3 daughters of a fallen father. You don't need somebody who's had suicide or committed. You can do it for American Cancer Society, breast cancer, Susan B. Komen. You can do it for autism, suicide prevention. You can, you could do it for rescue pets. You could do Barks and baseball or Barks and ball and do something around dogs and do the charity for dogs, So it's one of those where I think that is that if you really have a will and a way to do this, you're going to find people are willing to work with you and make it happen. And so, Rita, what were like between the first tournament and like the one you're having tonight, what are like 2 or 3 things that you've learned that we need to be cautious of or be aware of? Like, I mean, weather is always a factor. What are you doing better in this tournament tonight and this weekend than you did with the first tournament in 2003?
Gosh, there are so many things.
Yeah.
Well, number one is every game will be on time.
There you go.
That was something I learned from the first to the second charity tournament. The first one was kind of loosey-goosey, and we were all just kind of playing and having fun. And, of course, 28 teams are a lot of teams to run behind. I also learned that I have to be present the whole time because it is on my respect and honor and character that they're out there.
Yeah.
So I kind of keep everything in line and happy.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how all these men who play ball come to me and ask me stupid questions, like, hey, do you mind if we do this or that, or, whatever, or, hey, we need to throw this one out and we don't want to make him mad, so can you do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody that gets thrown out of a charity softball tournament has issues.
Well,
seriously.
there may or may not be adult beverages involved.
There you go. Right.
And occasionally those tend to, later in the day, get a little bit more out of hand.
Yeah.
But I never have a challenge with that because I guess I've got a lot of respect out there, which I humbly appreciate.
So you're doing 1 hour time limits, and like it's 4 innings, they're done. If it's 7 innings, they're done. And the bottom line is the hour is the hour, and we're going to start the next game in 10 minutes or 15 minutes and be ready to go. Right.
We run games on 55-minute time limits.
There you go. Till
the championship. Then we start the next one. So like tonight, for instance, we have them lined up 6:30, 7:30, 8:30. Then we'll have a run derby, which pulls in more money.
Nice.
But I have people who are running that, who are drawing the brackets, and we are actually saving costs by being the umpires. And I am actually an umpire too, so I will call them out in a nanosecond.
I love it. And that's another great one is you'll have umpires who volunteer, and then you can have volunteers umpire. And that is something that if it's a charity softball tournament, the people are going to be fine with it as long as they know what the rules are. I've even seen it where with a slow pitch softball tournament, they'll put a mat or a green sheet behind the plate. And if it hits that mat, it's like the first electronic strike zone ever. If it hits the mat, it's a strike. And if it doesn't, it's a ball. And it's as simple as that. So you can make the umpiring a lot easier for the umpires. The other thing too is Rita, I have to tell you that you slipped it in there, but it's such a crucial thing on these is you can have these side games like a home run derby, and people pay to get into home run derby, and the winner gets a bat that was donated. Well, that's extra money, and that goes to the charity, and it's a lot of fun. I have to tell you, slow pitch home run derbies, I've been in a lot of them. I've watched a lot of them. They're a lot of fun. I mean, the ball will go 450 feet. You'll see just absolute monster shots.
We've actually modified ours, Michael. Not only are the men having a home run derby, so are the women. And that's
I love it.
Never heard of. But my girls that play ball, I mean, and I'll have 100 ladies out there, no less.
And what's the fence? Is it 300?
The fence for the men is 325.
Yeah.
The fence for the women will be cut down to 250, I believe.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, I will tell you right now, 325 is shot. 325 for a guy is a shot, especially this time of year. And 250 for a woman is an absolute shot. So, college softball games, the fence is 200. So they're hitting it 50 feet farther in a home run derby. I love that. And now I get questions on this sometimes about auctions. Do you do auctions or drawings or anything like that in association with the tournament?
That's an awesome question. And I just had one of my coaching clients ask me that last week. And actually she asked me, well, how do you do your sign-in sheet and your door prizes?
Yeah.
And I know that 7L and all that we do in Catalyst and all that we do in CRT, everything that we do in RMS is all door prize and sign-in sheet driven. When I'm putting 400 people out on a field, I'm going to have a little challenge doing a door prize and getting them to fill out an entry form. So I've actually done a little twist to that, and that was something I learned the first time too.
Yeah.
I do not do any door prizes. If there's a prize there, I am raffling it. So they have to buy tickets.
Yeah. So it's not free, right?
No,
I mean, it's not a free door prize. They're actually, putting $5 in a ticket or 5 for 3 or whatever it may be. Yeah.
Yes, but more money for the charity because my prizes are donated. But it's more money for the charity, and they'll go nuts for a bat and gloves, a glove, a face mask, or whatever the case may be. Tonight, one of our vendors has actually donated 12 full sub jerseys, which are like what I have on.
Yeah, sublimated jerseys. These are very expensive. Very nice. Are they already pre-printed, or they can pick anything they want?
No, they can choose whatever they want, and it will be for the co-ed team that wins as well as the men's team that wins.
Holy smokes. That's donated. How much are the tickets? I may even enter that one. I mean, that's an amazing winning.
Our entry tonight is $180 a team. So
does the team win now I'm actually interested in this very much. So are you doing a raffle, or is it the team is entered in it when they enter the tournament?
The team is entered into that when they enter the tournament. So
that is crazy. You got to raise, that's got to be 300 next year. That's an amazing gift to get 12 sublimated tops for a whole team. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's actually going to be 24 because there's 12
or the co-ed and the men's.
Yeah. The entry fee I suggested was $250 a team.
Yeah.
My guy was a little apprehensive because he's never done this before, so I knew better, but I'm kind of letting him grow his wings.
Yeah.
And that's okay because he's doing what I asked him to do, which is a charity tournament.
Yep.
But he suggested 180, and it was going to be a 3-game guarantee. Well, I had to kind of stretch him back a little bit because there's no way you're pulling 100 women out of their home at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning for potentially one ball game.
Yeah.
Not going to happen with the kids.
Yeah.
So I'm also teaching them how to be fathers and how to be partners in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with tonight, the way I'll gather my people that I don't know necessarily, which is really awesome, is I have the rosters for each team.
Yeah.
And there has to be a name, address, phone number, and an email address for each player on each roster on each team that gets turned in to me.
That's right.
Yeah. There's my entry form fill out.
That's right.
And then I get to follow up. But I've actually made a new connection via Facebook from this, who happens to be a Shelby County Sheriff's officer who is undercover, but he is actually playing on one of my teams tonight. And the way he got to me was through some of them. And he said, I understand you're the one I need to talk to find out if I can play.
Wow.
He could have played with me. It didn't matter, but he's connected with me.
I love it. I love it. And they all know you're a realtor, and you are not just a realtor. You are the realtor. You are Aunt Rita, the realtor to many of them. And so any final words of wisdom on the charity softball tournaments? And I understand that we're getting quite a bit of information as the free download for this session. It's basically a part of your presentation that you do on this. By the way, if you have a market center or and it doesn't have to just be real estate, could be lending, could be outside of real estate. Anybody can have a charity softball tournament. If you or your organization is interested in doing that, have Rita come in and speak and break down the steps to how to have this charity softball tournament. And you can apply it to basketball or volleyball or any other sport. But the bottom line is you should have her come in and Rita, what's your email address so that they can reach out to you for that?
It's really hard, Michael. It's Rita, Rita Driver, Driver, the number 1 at gmail.com.
So Rita Driver 1 at gmail.com. So what final words of wisdom for someone who's looking to do one of these, or they're at the very least, they're interested or they're contemplating doing a charity softball tournament, and they understand that you get a lot of referrals from this and that they might get referrals. And they also understand that you're not doing it to get referrals. It just so happens that doing this is getting you referrals, and they are wanting to do the charity softball tournament and get referrals from it. So what are final words of wisdom? What do they do?
Okay. Well, one of the final words of wisdom is this. I have friends all over the United States who play ball.
There you go.
So if you want to entertain doing that, yes, I'm available to come in and talk to your firm or your company, but I'm also available to come to your city and help you put it together for the first time, because I probably know exactly who you need to see.
That's a heck of an offer right there. Is not just teach you how to do it, but she'll be there to show you how to do it. I love that. And that's Rita Driver 1 at gmail.com. And and you can download is the part of the presentation that she does on that. Several of the slides, people ask her all the time, can I have your presentation? Can you have she has a part of her presentation that is available for download, and you can get that at referralspodcast.com. And Rita, I just have to say, I appreciate you so much. And I mean, look at what value you are providing the world just tonight. I'm not even talking about the 16 years you've done these tournaments, but just in tonight, you've got 20 past clients, people that you've been in business with, and 20 who are they're either in the process of selling, buying, or looking to sell or buy, that are going to be on the field tonight out of the people that you're talking to. And I just have to say kudos and congrats, and, well done, good and faithful servant. You're rocking the world and providing a ton of value. And we appreciate having you on Referrals Podcast again. And guess what? We're going to have you on again to talk about your motorcycle rides, if you're okay with that. Are you okay with that?
Oh yeah, 54 and still riding motorcycls. Not 4.
And I have to tell you, we're going to have to work in the song "Leader of the Pack" for the motorcycle. Remember that, where that right? Yeah. Leader of the pack. So, Rita, I have to just say thank you so much. Thanks for being a guest on Referrals Podcast again. We really appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. It was an honor.
Listeners, viewers, thank you so much for listening or watching another episode of Referrals Podcast. We love you. Check out referralspodcast.com, where you get not just the download described in today's episode, but actually you get all of the downloads from all of our episodes of the award-winning Referral Podcast. We hope and we want you to consider yourself as a future guest on Referrals Podcast. Please email us at podcast@referco.com and tell us how you're getting referrals and how you are winning the referral game. Thank you for being here. We'll see you on the next episode of Referrals Podcast.